Yo, this is the real uncensored Browns fan tuning in for a late episode of Brownies, Cookies, and Water. This one is probably going to be a super long one because we are talking about one of my favorite guys on the team. Actually, a few of them. Actually, this whole list is pretty good. I like all these guys on this list. So let's get into it. The first, the first one is number 24, the one and only the Saint Nicholas Chubb. Um, yeah, like I said, man, we can talk all day about Nick Chubb, but I think like I said, how about this episode or these type of episodes that what I do is I pretty much I will talk about like what I thought about them from the beginning when we got them to what I see in the present to in the future. So we could go back to the very first draft. Now this draft, he was drafted in the same draft as Baker Mayfield. Now everybody know I started this channel because of Baker. It was a big question between Baker and Saquon Barkley. I definitely thought having a running back is pivotal in Cleveland and AFC North football in general. Just because of obviously we've seen this season the weather, the defense is always that's just our formula. Our formula of success for AFC North football. We have no domes, so weather could always play a fact. But one thing you cannot really deny is having a strong running game and a solid defense. Passing is it's up in the air because that wind could take that ball any way you go. But running it, the ball really not getting transferred too much other than handoffs and little pitches here and there. But um, but overall, so when we first drafted Nick Chubb, I heard a little bit, very little about him because most of the hype, most of the talk was all about Saquon Barkley. And the way they talked about him, there was really like nobody else compared close to him. Now, um, when we drafted Nick Chubb, I remember hearing about him, and it said, I think he was with Sony Mitchell. They was talking more about that Sony Michael Mitchell, whatever guy, more than Nick Chubb. And I think because most of it was because of Nick Chubb's injury to his knee. However, they said he had more yards close to Herschel Walker. So when you hear names like Herschel Walker, which is a fucking excellent name for a running back, by the way, when you hear words names like Herschel Walker and this dude was right behind Herschel Walker, your ears already perk up like, damn, who this dude? About to do some Herschel Walker shit. So we drafted him. They talked about his knee injury. I'm knocking on wood, y'all. Um, and I was worried, that could possibly happen again. I wonder what goes into the athlete's mind when you suffer an injury like that. In the way that he suffered it, I think like his knee went all the way, the opposite way of what it's supposed to do. So, um, you wonder. It's just like when you get hit and stuff like that. Like if that's gonna play in your muscle memory, or you gonna have like some type of PTSD, if you will, in regards to re-injuring that knee. Um, so so that was my concern. It's like, damn, we drafted a running back who might be injury prone. Now, when he got on the team, we had just signed Carlos Hyde, and he was supposed to be the main guy. Ohio State guy. I was all for it. He did pretty great as far decent at least, but his yards per carry was very minimal, and it was something that I was already kind of used to. Before Carlos Hyde, it was what's his name, Isaiah Crowell, and then before that, it was you know, Jerome Harrison was nice though, man. I like that dude. Hold on, my bad, y'all. Uh, and who else was it? Well, we had Jamal Lewis, man. But let's just go in order. Isaiah Crowell. Before Isaiah Crowell, who was it? It was I mean, Duke Johnson was there, but he wasn't like a prime back. They had Terrence. What was his name? Terrence. Damn, I can't even remember that dude's name. But it doesn't matter. They're not on the team no more. So anyway, I think it was probably 9-2 week 3 or 4, Nick Chubb actually got into the game and only played like 2 plays, I think, like maybe a handful of plays, and like had like a home run hit. And it was like right then and there, it was like, okay, who is that guy who just off nothing? Was it a fluke? Was it just some type of like somebody made a mistake, somebody made a oopsies or what? But the thing was, they didn't keep playing him. They put back Carlos Hyde, and then something ended up happening. I think Carlos Hyde either get traded or something, but I think they finally knew what they had in Nick Chubb. And at the time, don't get me wrong, John Dorsey, from what I've heard, is like he's all about his guys. And everybody know I love the Doors because like he got me Baker, he got me Mac, he got me Greedy, he got me uh, who else did I want? Denzel. And so forever, he's gonna be loved by me. I know a lot of things that did raise your that raise your eyebrows about what he was doing, the decisions he making, hiring Freddie Kitchens, you know, bringing back Antonio Callaway, who doesn't seem like he was really about football at all. I mean, I get it, you fell in love with the potential, but when you draft players like Tyreek Hill and shit like that, Travis Kelsey, Ohio guy, by the way. I know I'm supposed to be making this about Nick Chubb. That's what this show is supposed to be about. But I'm just telling you just an overall. That's why I said this could be a long episode on Nick Chubb alone. Um, but anyway, so they eventually got rid of Carlos Hyde, and they finally gave the thumbs up to Nick Chubb. And at that moment, it was like our running back problems was over. Uh, I'm trying to remember who was behind. It was still Duke. Duke was still behind him, which was kind of messed up in a way because you would think that eventually Duke would finally get his chance to shine, but he never did. Nick Chubb, I mean, you can't blame him though. Like Nick Chubb was balling. Like didn't even play most of the games in the season, and as soon as he gets out there, it was like dude almost had 1,000 yards of rushing. You know what I'm saying? He almost had 1,000 yards of rushing. Same way he doing it this year. It's like he missed a bunch of games, but almost get 1,000 yards of rushing. Like that just goes to show you, man, like how amazing, how gifted this kid is, you know what I mean? And just the work that he put in. I don't think you could just get that off of just, I'm gonna wake up out of bed and run for 1,000 yards this season. He definitely puts the work in, and from what everybody says is like dude's quiet, hard work, just your everyday dude, a leader that you would definitely want to follow behind as far as he ain't gotta say a whole lot, but you watch what he do or be like, man, would Nick do this? If Nick ain't doing it, I ain't doing it. If Nick would do this, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And that's where he kind of come from, man. It's just like you could just tell that it's take letter better terms from Jarvis. It's contagious, man. It's contagious. So, um, when we got him in that first season, he balled out, showed us who he was. Amazing as far as breaking tackles. Amazing is just the one to pop off a big play. Like you, the thing that he does is just it's beautiful. It's an artwork. The way that he runs is crazy, and we never had anything like that. And right then and knew, I was like, man, we finally got our running back. Our running back problems are over. The second year, even though we had competence as far as coaching staff, but he was still our bright spot. Even through that mayhem, or through all that bullshit, it's like when you put your head down and you go to work and you be prepared for anything and you just go out there and you give your all, it's like it doesn't even fucking matter. And even then, like, it was stupid because it was like Freddie decided not to like use him. It was like, bro, like y'all's terrible right now as far as passing and getting y'all passing game together. Just keep running Nick Chubb. Freddie Kitchen, nah, I'm abandoning that. I'm abandoning Nick Chubb and try to throw us into these games and shit like that, and it just never worked. And then to get to the point, to this year, he got hurt and everything, and then everybody bringing up the talk about, do you sign Nick Chubb? Do you pay a running back and everything like that? my whole thing is that since Nick Chubb been here, he's been productive. Period. Dot blank. You definitely pay him on performance because we don't get that often, and that's what you need in the AFC North. What I tell you, defense and a run game, and everybody knows it. I think sometimes people forget about it because especially like if you are analysis, and if you are let me say like somebody that does it on the everyday basis, it's like sometimes you can't overthink things because it's like you talk about it so much, and then with emotions or thoughts and ideas, they could always change. So like I don't blame them, but I definitely feel like I'm a person that believe in common sense. If it don't make sense, it just don't make sense. Period. You know what I'm saying? So, and if it do make sense, then like as long as I got a pretty good logic and reason behind it, and I'm all for it. In regards to Nick Chubb and re-signing Nick Chubb, that makes all the sense. I don't care what you talk about as far as, oh well, you don't pay running backs because they shelf life and all this and like a car and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I hate when people bring that up. Like the car market is the same thing as the running back market. I see why you would want to use that as a comparison or as a simile or whatever like that. Like I get why people are trying to say it, but it's not the same. And the reason why it's not the same is because all cars aren't the same. You know what I'm saying? All cars ain't going to depreciate the same. I'll tell you what, like a Dodge, I got a Dodge. You know what I'm saying? And my Dodge, I ain't gonna, I ain't trying to flex and nothing like that. I'm gonna just call it a Dodge. It's a Hemi, by the way. Um, my Dodge don't depreciate quickly. I know that when I was getting ready to thinking about trading it in or whatever like that, and looking at the value to refinance it and everything like that, these fucking dealers were gonna make at least $8,000 more than what my car was worth. Now, what do you say about that as far as depreciation? If you're talking about these cars, brand new was like, all right, well, Kelly Blue Book says it's this amount, but you turn around and give it back to the dealer, and the dealer is like, oh, well, this is excuse me, this is an easy one. We definitely want this car, and we gonna jack it up 8, 12, $14,000. Not all cars depreciate the same. If you got a good quality car, if you got a car that's in the market and a car that's gonna keep producing, you can't say all cars are the same. Just like all running backs the same. Some running backs are tougher than others. Some running backs, like I said, with the whole knee injury, some shit don't phase them. Even when he had his injury this year, that shit didn't phase him because I look when he came back out there and he was doing the same shit he did right before he left. You can't sit up here and say, well, cars depreciate super fast and cars don't ever give you value, because that's not a good way to look at it. You look at, did this car bring you value? You know what I'm saying? You look at it as, okay, yeah, my car is depreciating, but this car got me to get to work, which increased my earnings, my winning, my earnings, my ability to spend money on what I needed to spend it on. It had its purpose, and it's increasing its value by increasing your pockets. So yeah, keep rolling with it. You know what I mean? Like, it should be no hesitation on signing Nick Chubb. If it was up to me, I definitely would re-sign Nick Chubb. As far as giving him his payday, if you want to be paid like the top running back in the league, shit, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude it has shown that he's worth it, and he shows that even despite through injuries and stuff like that, he's got the mental makeup and what it takes, to make it back. And I'm knocking on wood again because I don't want to see any of that shit. But, definitely pay him while he's in his prime. Why not? Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, when it comes to getting down to the third contract, then maybe. Like I said, I wouldn't franchise tag him just for the fact, because I think that's a year-to-year type of thing. Maybe franchise tag somebody else. Maybe use like a franchise tag on Baker more so, because even though Baker is the reason why we're winning, but to many others, he's still supposed to be, uh, you know, under test or whatever like that. He's our quarterback of the future, I think. But anyway, back to Nick Chubb. You definitely got to pay him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you definitely need to keep and retain him because that dude. You get rid of Nick Chubb if you say fuck it on Nick Chubb like oh we'll just find another running back. I can guarantee the Cleveland Browns won't be shit ever again. We'll never find a running back like Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is gonna be a fucking legend when it's said and done. Like just because of like I said, his values, his morals, and the way he goes about things. You can't. Nick Chubb is like the new Ricky Williams, for real. His game is so much like Ricky Williams. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And Ricky Williams was a dog, like a dog. So I would definitely keep a Ricky Williams. You see how he left the league twice and came back and was still balling. That's Nick Chubb. Keep him. That is my guy. Anyway, on to the second guy. I'm so sorry, y'all. Adrian Clayborn. He's not very new to the. I mean, he's new to the team. He hasn't been here for very long. Is what I meant to say. But I like him. You know, every time he's on the field, I see his presence. I feel it from the couch. His presence, like he brings the pressure. He gets to the pass rush. He disrupts your game. Maybe not as much on an impactful level or a consistent level as a Myles Garrett. You know, and even like with Shelly, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe not as much as Shelly because he's a little bit more of a vet, older. But nonetheless, I'm very happy that we got him. I think he's an amazing ball player. I think he's very smart. As far as the way he goes about his games and how he tries to use his abilities to overmatch his man, and maybe he does some studying to know what the people that he's going against they don't do well. You know, nonetheless, very strong guy, strong man. Definitely disrupts the flow as far as the passing game. Been making plays for us this entire year. Maybe not always throwed it up on the stat sheet, but like I said, I see it. I see it. I see he's always near. He's always close. I see that the quarterbacks do be looking like, oh shit, who's this coming at me? And it's Adrian Clayborn. You know. Now Ricky, we'll talk about Ricky. Well, you do kind of look like the homeless hobo guy with the big ass beard and shit. But he got the long dreads. You know, shout out to my roster dudes. And you know what? Let me talk about this real quick. I know it's petty, but I'm tired of dudes with fake dreads. I hate that. I hate it. Like Cam Newton, fake dreads. Brandon Marshall, fake dreads. Like fake dreads. This is a lifestyle. This isn't just for fashion. It's like when you get dreadlocks, you make a life choice. It ain't just I'm about to get dreads and I'm about to change my hair next week and I'm gonna put some blonde in it. I'm gonna put some blonde in my dreads and, get a little color, a little flash and just, nah, man. When you get them dreads for real, you need to do it the real way. Otherwise, we ain't respecting you. If I see you with fake dreads, I'm calling you out. Period. So, that's that. And, but no, man. I mean, as far as Adrian Clayborn, I think he's on a 1-year contract. Even if he doesn't stay with us for the remainder of the season, I'm sorry, like next year or so, I mean, I will definitely hope that he can find a way to stick with the band because I think he's definitely a valuable asset in regards to the defensive line. He helps bolster the defensive line. He makes our defensive line as strong as it is as far as depth-wise. It'll be great to do so, but obviously I know that this is a game where you don't play it for very long and you got to get your monies when you can, so I can't really sit up here and say, like, that's why I'm glad I'm not a GM. I don't got to make these fucking tough-ass decisions, that can affect us, our team, our fans, especially because we love some of these guys. We love a lot of these guys that I talk about. So, and then, so hopefully, like I said, he could stick with us, until he's ready to hang up the cleats and put the jersey away. But, if not, I appreciate him being on the team. I won't forget him because like I say he's been very productive for us, so hopefully he balls out again against the Ravens and we get that going, and we're gonna move on to the next guy. I'm sorry, Adrian, it wasn't very long, but like I said, you haven't been here for very long. Like when we first got him, I didn't know much to think about Adrian Clayborn. It was just like I think I heard the name a few times, you know what I'm saying? Because I know he bounced around from league to league, and I always remember the dreads and stuff like that. And at the time, I was still kind of just like in an initial hurt because we got rid of Dorsey, so I was really just like very critical in regards to the bringings that Andrew Berry was bringing in. But I'll go to sell. I mean, just this year alone, I mean, Andrew Berry's done an excellent job, as far as bringing these players in, players that would fit the culture, obviously, and that are Browns at the end of the day. People that's gonna give it they all, that's gonna work. They tail off. That's trying to change this culture for the betterment. And I definitely feel that that's what AB has done, and bringing Adrian Clayborn and this next guy. The next person that we're going to talk about is number 56, Malcom Smith, who has been making a lot of key plays within the past few weeks. I see number 56 a lot after, a play is broken up, or, when they get ready to jump into the next play. The camera always go back to him because he's making plays, whether it's in the passing game or he's making that crucial open field tackle. It's been great, you know what I mean, and that's what we need. It got to be a full 11-man effort on offense and defense, obviously, but definitely defense. Defense is like you really got to take care of your thing so that it can all flow, and then we can just keep things in our lane. Keep things under us, keep things not from going out of control, and you could tell. I think he's a veteran too. I should have looked that up, but you could tell that he may be a veteran because it's just it's not the athleticism, because everybody athletic in NFL. He is athletic. Don't get me wrong, but you could tell it's more so the IQ that keeps him on the field, because he just be there at the right time. I don't know if it's just reaction or just, when you do that type of stuff, like when you play football, it's like, or basketball or any sport or any of that matter, it's just, you always have like an internal clock, and then you also have, just experience things of like, all right, I'm used to things happening this way, you know what I'm saying? And it just, you just so happen to be there because it's like almost like a muscle memory, if you will. It's almost like a sixth sense where you just somehow just be at the right spot. I said I always used the eternal clock when I was playing sports. It was always counting inside my head, because I always knew on a certain count, you know, that a person only got so much time to get to this spot or get to that spot or whatever like that. And if I'm matching up that sequence, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna be able to react in enough time. You don't do it all the time throughout the game, because it's like you get tired. You just like you fucking counting in your head all damn day. It's like you gonna forget every once in a while. But I noticed that times I made the most plays was when I had that clock in my head. So, whatever he uses, it works for him. He's in the NFL. I'm not. I'm at home making posts on YouTube. So, whatever works for him works for him. But definitely, happy to see him out there balling. So obviously this show is more so about Nick Chubb. But I mean, can you blame me? Like he's homegrown. We drafted him. He's our guy, man, and it's Nick Chubb. And like I said, Adrian Clayborn, A Clay, he cool. And then Malcolm, you know what I'm saying? Malcolm in the middle, Smith. So nah. But I don't know why I said that. That was so whack. But nonetheless, man, the realness is a Browns fan. I ain't gonna try to hold y'all out. I'm gonna have another post because this post is late. So peace out.